Hello, everyone. It is Steph. I want to talk to you this week about a habit that I have been working on for probably my entire life. And that is the habit of embracing process, because process is the thing that helps me with my patience so that I stop obsessing about this is where I am and this is where I want to be and like what's the path of least resistance. Process is breaking down that gap into multiple steps that you can take so that every step becomes like a victory. It's cause for celebration and a sense of contentment instead of the restlessness that just exists in the gap, right? And I see this a lot with my clients. Like, we're all human, right? And for those of us who just have that natural urge to achieve and accomplish, and we're very goal oriented. We're here are our goals. How do we get here as quickly as possible, right? And I'm all for efficiency, but what I've learned with age is that I tended to rush my process, and it prohibited me from really being able to clearly evaluate, am I using all of my resources the most effectively? Um, could I be asking for more help to get to where I'm going? Because I tend to just, put my head down and plow through. And I know there are a lot of you out there who function very similarly. So with age, I've chilled out, relatively speaking, and I've really come to love my processes because they create a lot of ease and they remove a lot of friction. So process is not an obstacle to getting to where you want to go as quickly and easily as possible. It's just you're kind of front loading the effort in order for the rest of that journey to proceed with the best use of time, the best use of your money, and the least wear and tear on the people around you. So I'll give you an example of a client I met with recently, and we were talking about this, and we've been working very hard together on creating process for her, especially around her scheduling, how she protects her time, how she creates projects for herself, but then we break them down into pieces. We get the pieces on her calendar so she can really have a very clear picture of this is where she is, and these are all of the steps to get to where she wants to go. And the process of that is reasonable, it's sustainable, she can protect it. She always has a sense of making progress, so she doesn't get paralyzed or frustrated. And so she's been working for probably the last 5 to 6 months very consistently on this big goal that she had for herself, only she approached it in pieces instead of living in the gap, living in the absence of just going from, nothing to all. And we were talking about this and reflecting on this and coaching the other day, and she said, I have never felt this calm. And it's kind of weird. Like, she's still getting used to the idea that she doesn't have to paint herself into a corner and like feel nervous and anxious and then harness that anxiety to get her across the finish line. Like, this is the first time in her life that she's really approached something where she has mapped it out. She's approached it calmly. She hasn't had to have any weird energy around it. She got everything done. It turned out great. And she just kind of sat there in awe of what this process produced for her and how little wear and tear it took on herself. So I really encourage you to think about, is there a habit that you lean on frequently, good or bad, right? Maybe you have the habit of scheduling things for yourself and protecting your calendar, or maybe you have the habit of painting yourself into the corner. And as one of my other clients likes to say, she's pressure prompted. She's not a procrastinator, she's pressure prompted, excuse me. So think about these habits that serve you well, and how could you lean on them even more, or refine them, or integrate them a little bit more into your day to day. And then what are the habits that you think are good, or they've just kind of become that, reliable schmata sweatshirt that you wear that you love so much, but it's full of holes and it lets all the cold air in and it's not really keeping you warm and it's not doing anything for you and it makes you look like hell. Right? But you're attached to it emotionally for some weird reason and you can't get rid of it. This is not really serving you. So think about the habits that aren't really serving you and how they're creating even more friction to getting to where you want to go. How can you modify them or even let them go in favor of developing something else? And how is that going to produce more sanity and ease that can be combined with your ambition? Ambition and ease, I don't think have to be either or propositions. I think that you can be goal oriented. I think you can accomplish a lot. You can be a contributor and you do not have to make yourself and everyone around you crazy in the process, right? These are not mutually exclusive. So reflect on that for yourself and see what you come up with. And if you're having a difficult time answering the question, how do I get these things done? That's what I'm here for. And there are other mentors, there are employees, there are fellow entrepreneurs. There are a lot of people that you can have these conversations with. I'm a big fan of leveraged learning. You don't have to white knuckle it and figure everything out for yourself. Start asking questions. You'll be amazed at what people will share with you, and it's incredibly helpful. So that's what I've got for you today. Hope that is in itself helpful, and I will have a whole new topic for you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everyone. Bye.